Hi, this is Jonathan Haverkampf again. Thank you for joining me today for another impromptu talk on burnout. I just have to add, as every time, a little disclaimer that this is only for discussion and it's not meant as medical advice. If you suffer from a medical condition or you suffer from symptoms, mental health or medical symptoms, it is important that you do consult a professional. Now, having said that, let's get back at burnout. A lot of people suffer from burnout. Burnout is something very common, and you might not even feel or think that you're experiencing burnout at the workplace, but you actually might. Burnout means a couple of things. First of all, they're like mental health symptoms. One could feel anxious, or one could also feel depressed. But the important thing is, very much at the core of burnout, is that people get disconnected from their work. Their work becomes, in a sense, meaningless or pointless to them. They essentially just do the work for the sake of doing it, but not for any other intrinsic purpose or a goal that's important to them and they want to reach, or they feel it has a special purpose. It's just the opposite. Things do become meaningless. People become detached from their work, disconnected emotionally from what they're doing. Also cognitively disconnected. When people suffer from burnout, they actually become less effective at their work. They become worse. They begin to make mistakes. They feel everything is overwhelming. There's so many things I have to do, and it's just, I can't see the end of it. I feel like, what's the point in doing it? Because if I do this aspect of my work, or I finish this task, another task is just going to follow along. So important in burnout is the disconnection. And it's not just disconnect from work, it's also a social disconnect. People feel, or people withdraw socially. They draw back and they are not as communicative anymore. And essentially, the world becomes more of a grey and dull place. I'm just doing the work for the sake of doing it. Of course, in life, we have tasks and work which we have to do in order to be able to do something else maybe in the future, or just because it has to be done at the moment. Now, burnout means there's really kind of, I'm in a situation where I feel there's no end in sight. I cannot change my situation. Maybe because I feel I don't have the courage to do it, or I feel I can't, or I shouldn't. Often people actually feel they should not do something. But often when you look at it objectively, a change might actually be very good, very worthwhile. Now, this doesn't mean that people should change their job from one day to the next. Often it's more a gradual shift. And with those gradual shifts, over time, you actually move towards something that's important to you, and meaningful, and valuable. So that means, like, when we talk about burnout, it's very much also about finding out what's meaningful to me, what's valuable, what is important to me, what are my aspirations. And it's not what I should be doing, or what people tell me I should value, I should get enthusiastic about. No, it's what's truly important to me, what's truly valuable to me. For example, if I value highly helping people, other people in need, then doing a job where I can't do that, or where I don't feel I'm doing that, over time is not going to be a good experience. It's not going to make me happy. So in order to be happy, it's important that I do something where I see meaning and which is valuable to me. Now, often people actually can see a lot of meaning in what they're doing, but I don't see it anymore. So if I work in a job where I feel like I'm disconnected, I might not even need to change my job, but maybe kind of my perspective. And seeing what I'm doing, how it could actually be meaningful. And that often means looking at the greater picture. Like, and I'm, for example, let's say I'm working as a real estate agent, or in real estate. Now, it might become very technical, or I feel all I'm doing is pushing paper, or helping other people to get a mortgage. But in the end, what I'm doing is I'm helping people to get a home. If I'm doing private property, commercial real estate, well, I'm helping people to find a place where they can work, or enabling people to work in a place. So it's often kind of how I look at things, and that's very important. It also helps, as I said in the beginning, the burnout often comes with anxiety, and symptoms can also be symptoms of depression, feeling low, motivation goes down, I'm no longer enthusiastic about things I enjoyed in the past, so enjoyment kind of seeps out, and there's depression, there's anxiety. There can be also other symptoms as well. And once I get more connected again with what I'm doing, and of course it means also with myself and with other people I'm interacting with, in many cases those symptoms will actually become less and then even disappear. So it's very important to deal with burnout is to connect with myself, also emotionally, because that's how I find what I value in life and what's important to me. And that also helps in my interactions with other people, because the more I feel what's valuable to myself and meaningful to myself, raises my own sense of myself, the value I give myself. And that also helps into interactions with other people. And it might also help even to see in other people maybe some of the problems they are having. Of course, it's important, to draw healthy boundaries and not taking on someone else's issue, because you cannot solve someone else's issue. Only the other person can do that. And that's another important aspect of burnout. It is to draw boundaries, to know what's my issue, what's someone else's issue. For example, in the workplace, what's my task and what's someone else's task. Now, as you see, burnout feels like everything is getting too much. But in a sense, there's too little of something, and that's kind of connecting with oneself, finding value and meaning in what I'm doing, and first, of course, identifying what that is. So, burnout is something that in many cases, the vast majority of cases, can be dealt with quite well. Especially, usually it does require professional help. And in some cases, if the symptoms for example, of depression or anxiety have gotten quite bad, or you need more distance to what's going on at the workplace and the stressors, medication can be an option, it can be a valuable option, but that's something that should be discussed with a professional, with a doctor, if it's about the medication. So in most cases, in virtually all cases I've seen, it can be managed. It might require maybe not working or kind of not being at the workplace for a while, especially in the more severe cases. It might need making some changes. But once one is in the process of finding out what's valuable and meaningful to oneself, the fear usually goes away, and it doesn't seem as much of a task anymore. It becomes much easier once you connect with yourself and you know where you're going and what's important to you. So this is only kind of a very brief discussion on burnout, just scratching the surface a little bit. Now, if you know someone who's suffering from burnout, or you're suffering from burnout, it's a very good idea to get professional help. And because it makes it much easier to deal and manage the burnout and get over it more quickly and go where you want to go. Well, thank you for joining me today, and I wish you all the very best. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day.